What happened in switching from diary to meter was you started to see that, wait a minute, these people don't really listen
truth came out
as often as they do.
They don't listen 24/7.
The truth came out.
Right.
And so now black radio had remember, when you're black, you have a finite audience. Right? So you're in New York, there's this many black people, and your brand is based on serving the black community.
Right.
Well, now you can't grow your ratings because it's finite. So you have two radio stations that were serving the same community and basically canceling each other out.
Right.
So the two companies decided, let's figure out a way to combine this into one thing so that the numbers go up, because now everybody's focused on one thing and we can make more money than we were making the past 5 years when we were doing battle against one another. Right? So that's why on BLS you hear Lenny Green, you hear Shayla, you still got Steve Harvey, Jeff Fox, who used to be on KISS, you have the open line guys. So they basically merged the radio stations. They also did research, and it was like, well, BLS is the heritage black-owned radio station in this town.
Right to Frankie Crocker.
Right.
I mean, KISS FM is where I first was where hip-hop actually began.
Which is a great, it's a whole nother conversation or a whole story we'll jump on. So they decided to keep the BLS brand alive because it represented black ownership.
Yes.
It represented black community.
Legacy.
And legacy. So they felt like, look, we can't have the black-owned radio station in market number one be the one to go away. So that's really what happened. So KISS went away. It was financial. It wasn't based on listening. It was based on the fact that two black radio stations serving the same community could not increase their revenues year over year. It was finite.
So they would sacrifice for the sake of WBLS.
Yes.
That's kind of crazy, man.
Right. And so really Emmis that owned KISS basically was bought out, was paid to go away.
I gotta say, Ebro, that's still a political answer. The truth is, old black people in New York are dead.
Yeah.
There's only a few left.
I'm already in the frying pan, bruh.
Old black people in New York are dead. All right, then you don't say it. Then you don't say it.
But to your point, on some other research shit, since the new census came out, it's so expensive to live in New York so tedious that older black families, how many of our family members that lived in New York
to Atlanta,
moved to North Carolina, moved to Atlanta because the life is better.
That's true.
Right? So when you're talking about the black experience in New York, the black experience in New York has changed.
It's changing too.
And still, look, if you look just look around you in your community, where black people were in New York City in the 90s, in the 80s, in the 70s.
No longer here.
They're not there. They're in Jersey in the suburbs, gone or changed. I mean, so a lot of, remember, radio stations are a reflection of what's already happening.
So this issue is bigger than Hot 97. It's bigger than you. So once again, your hands are basically tied.
To an extent.
But to a major extent.
To a major extent. Now, we were talking about Talib Kweli the other day, and the reason I keep bringing it up is because it's top of mind and he's got some stuff coming. But he's a rapper that's known for his social consciousness, right? And he works very hard at maintaining that. He's had mainstream success, right? Did a record with Kanye West, Just to Get By, huge record. I think he might have got nominated for a Grammy. A lot of success. Since that time, he's done great touring. He's had great businesses. He's got signed to labels, dropped from labels, whatever, what have you. He's an example of someone who's going to try to reemerge himself in the mainstream because now the pendulum is swinging where you have the Kendrick Lamars, the A$AP Rockies, and these guys that have built their base and their movement with social tools, modern tools, to create awareness of their brands, right? Because now when a radio station takes a risk on a Kendrick Lamar, when that mic comes open and you go, new music from Kendrick Lamar, the audience, the person listening says, I've heard that before. I've heard of that person. I saw that person on MTV. Oh, that's the guy Lady Gaga went to his concert. All of those were marketing tactics to create Kendrick Lamar's awareness because it's more than just the song.
Right.
We decide what music we like beyond just the song. How many times have you liked a song and then saw the artist or heard the artist speak and been like, I don't really like that no more?
Yeah, a lot of times.
Right? But that's because it's more than just about the song, which gets us into this minors versus majors conversation, which is like, all right, yeah, you're a dope MC. Example, Eminem, phenomenal MC. But until he got with Dr. Dre, he didn't make great songs.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the biggest problems in New York today. The biggest problems in New York, and that's why I'm glad Blaze is here, The biggest problem in New York, and we brought this up to Swiss too, is the people who know how to make hit songs, sonic songs. Blaze knows this too. There's a certain way to go in a studio, and it takes studying, and it takes understanding Pro Tools.
There's a formula,
and
there's
an art form to it.
There's an art form, but to make it sound like something,
right.
To make it feel like an event. Not just I threw a loop on with a sample and some drums that I stole from Fruity Loops and I rhymed to it. A fucking song with a story and a beginning, a middle, and an end, and a whole thing, right? That's one piece. The other piece is the marketing piece. Then the third piece is your ability to connect with the audience, right? You have to go out and campaign yourself so that somebody wants to invest their money in your show, your money in your album. When I play the song on the radio, they want to keep it listening.
So a minor league artist hasn't connected all three of those facets?
No, some people have crossed minors to majors. That's where a Hove or a 50 or... Look, even before 50 was signed to M, 50 shit was ringing out here. 50 Cent as
he was making songs.
Yeah, but remember, he had Sha Money was in there with him. He was melodies.
His first record was a hit, How to Rob. I mean, that was playing consistently on Hot 97.
Yes, very entertaining, very funny song.
So how does a minor? How does a minor league artist?
You got to connect all those facets.
Right, but that's my question then. So then, when we say Sean Price is in the minors, it's not because Sean Price doesn't have a legacy of making music.
No, Sean Price has a tremendous legacy. Matter of fact, Sean Price had a moment. Right? Whether it was Fab Five, Eshkoshka, and they was doing their shit, LaFleur and LaFly, they was rocking prime time. I was in California at the time. That shit was on all mix shows. And they was moving around. And they got their deal with Priority. They was on Priority right then, right? They was moving around. They was on tour buses. They was selling merch. They was doing their thing. They was going, right? They had videos on BET, or was it The Box at the time? And that's another thing that people don't talk about. The lack of music video exposure also hurt hip-hop because that was another marketing tool. When BET stopped playing music videos, MTV stopped playing music videos, that marketing, that putting face with song, being able to see, oh, this dude is authentic and this dude... See, now with the internet, you don't really get to see whether or not there's authenticity.
It's all over the place.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's also caused a shift in the game.
So let me ask you, man, how do you personally feel about this, man? Honest.
Personally...
Yeah.
I am me personally, I probably like one album a year, personally. And that ranges from, look, did I like Rick Ross, the Albert Anastasia mixtape? Yes. Did I like Teflon Don? Yes. Did I like Watch the Throne? Yes. Did I like The Roots Undone? Yes. Do I like Kendrick Lamar? Love it. So, but I don't like everything that comes out. Some shit is lazy sounding.
Of course.
Some shit is just, like no effort was put into what the complete story. Right? Like, I bought a piece of art. Tell me the story. Don't just have a bunch of songs on an album.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where's the beginning? Where's the end? What's in the middle? Who are you? Tell me about you. What do you give a fuck about? You ever had your heart broken before? Do you have kids? Like, that's what you want from an artist. You want to feel like you want. You want to. A lot of times,
I had this conversation with Fabulous. I'm like, you're a great MC. Why do people not feel that? Like,
right.
I've had this conversation.
And that's where Fab may be not wanting to go there.
Of course,
right? Because maybe he's uncomfortable with exposing that piece of his life.
Just what you were about to say.
Well, I was just going to say, I think the other part of that is that the tools are too accessible now. Remember how you were saying that it used to take you used to have to if you want to get in the studio, you want to make a record, it costs X amount of money.
That's
just
right.
to even get to that point.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Which means you already had to either have a certain amount of talent that somebody believed in you to give you that money, whether it was a demo deal from a record label, local hustler around your way. It wasn't accessible to everybody. Now we can go make a record right now on a $100 computer.
Easy.
On an iPhone or an iPad.
Yeah. And let me take it a step further. How many artists did we love, whatever era, 80s, 90s, even now? We looked at them like fucking superheroes.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, you on the reality show, and you got problems just like me. We the same dude. I can't even look up to you.
You're
no
a fuck up.
You know what I'm saying? Like
you're a regular person now.
You're a regular person. So that stardom, that celebrity, because of social media.
So reality killed the hip hop star.
So.
Right.
I believe so. I think it hurt because, like, even T.I., right? Like, I've had conversations with T.I. where it was like, do you think this reality TV thing has hurt your brand? And he's like, I mean, it's who I am.
Right.
And I just the expectations of me are higher than the next guy. And I'm like, yeah, but you can't really talk about being in the trap and having guns. I mean, I guess you could talk about having guns. Everybody got guns, but nobody believes you're going to bust them because we watching
kids.
you. You got kids and a wife, which is a phenomenal thing. Nobody's saying that, but some of the stuff that we loved about hip hop has been reduced because there's too much access. That's why I believe Jay don't jump in there like that, and Beyonce don't give you that shit because they still want you to believe the thing that they're giving you, not the shit that you may find out from social media.
It's like it's too much overexposure now. It's like like you said, no one's making themselves a superstar. Everyone's like, oh, see me every day. This is what I did today, you know.
And nobody cares no more.
Yeah, and
but wait a minute. This phenomenon occurred in rock music. I mean, think about all the rock musicians that we'd come to find out, you know, were on Molly or, for their era, cocaine.
Right.
You know, hard body.
And where's rock music right now?
Well, hold on for a second. Rock music can still play at the Barclays Center. You still have the Rolling Stones.
But that's the difference. But that's the difference. That's a cultural difference.
But
there's still people.
Radio helps create.
Now keep in mind
those Rolling Stones for rap music.
Yeah. No. 100%. 150%. There's still right now 3 rap acts, whether they're from New York or not, 4 that could sell out Barclays or the Garden. Kanye West, Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, Drake. Those are current. How many current rock bands, real rock bands, can sell out those venues?
Not many, if any.
It's not a lot. I'm sure there are some, but people who are currently putting out new material. I mean, look, the Rolling Stones, I think, might put out a new album or whatever, but they're 400 years old. Like, I mean, like, what are we talking about?
Right, like the Police.
The other part is, I believe this, and I guess we could probably do the research. There's only a handful of stars in any music genre, real, true stars. Everybody's not a star. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so basically, the game has ratcheted up so that you could be talented, but now you have to be a star.
For Hot 97.
Hot 97.
You can, look, I came up with the hieroglyphics,
Right.
Living Legends, Grouch, Sunspot Jones. I'm from the Bay. Like, I know all them underground dudes. I was on radio back then. They would come by my little hip-hop show, hang out, I'd play their records. I was like Rosenberg, right?
You're dope, and we fuck with you, but you're not a star.
But you never, I wasn't the PD at the time, but you didn't break into stardom. But they make livings still.
Right.
They traveled Europe, had tours, fed their families and things like that. I think that's the other part of it is artists have to figure out who you want to be. You know, Sean Price, he doesn't, like, once again, we keep bringing him up. He doesn't give a fuck about radio. Matter of fact.
Does he give a fuck about radio, though?
He doesn't give a fuck about radio. He just don't like motherfuckers calling him minor league. As if he hasn't.
But in my opinion, you shouldn't like me calling you minor league. But do you want to change what you're doing to fit in, or do you want to continue being you? And sometimes your you may end up being mainstream, i.e. a Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar's who he was built into something more major. Kind of Wiz Khalifa too.
Yes.
He's made some more popular records, but kind of who he is, he worked into becoming.
And it was a very organic process.
No. He hooked up with Amber Rose. Amber Rose makes
but
everybody.
But
whatever.
He had
tremendous. Amber Rose, Tiger Blood, on a period. Okay.
Even if you take
makes everybody.
Even
tremendous.
if you go back earlier to like Wu-Tang, even same thing was an organic thing where the underground became mainstream.
And they sell you the story.
And how many Wu-Tang records, well, let's just look at first 36 Chambers, right? How many of those records got remixed to go mainstream and win a Grammy?
You're all I need. I mean, Method Man wouldn't have had that.
The original version of that wasn't the one that won the Grammy. They threw an R&B joint under that, sampled it up. Look, Method Man, the record, when you listen to Protect Your Neck versus sonically versus Method Man as a record, Method Man is markedly more mainstream sonically than Protect Your Neck or Wu-Tang Clan Ain't Nothing to Fuck With.
That's the single.
Right. So they made a concert, no matter how we love them and how underground they are, they made a concerted effort to make records that they knew sonically would fit a mainstream palette.
Right. So going back again to my question, how do you feel about this? Because I feel that the culture.
I feel great.
You don't feel that the culture is suffering right now?
Yes, but we're here having a conversation, fighting for it. Right. So when Drew Ha is going to hit me and beat me in the head about, you know, whether it's Sean Price or Buckshot or whether I'm trying to think of somebody, whether it's Talib who wants to make sure he's at the next SOB show, or if it's fucking I'm trying to think of somebody else that's working crazy right now. If Swiss Beats decides he's going to hook up with an artist that's artists coming up and give them some records, and because he feels like they put in the work. I had the same conversation with him where I was like, look, you're one of the artists that came out of New York. You're very mainstream. Your wife is like a pop star, right? What makes you want to give, not get your rate? And Blaze, I'm not even gonna. You're sitting here. I don't want to go at you with it, but not
go
even
at him. Go at him.
No. Not even get your rate. I'm literally. You don't even have enough money to pay me for the work that I'm about to do for you.
Right.
But for the sake of the culture, I'm gonna give you this song.
Well, that's what it was with Jay Electronica.
Right.
You know, it wasn't like there was no label, there was no nothing. I just believed in what he could do.
Right.
You know, so there was no money. I made no money off Exhibit C until way later.
So why wouldn't a Just Blaze go to an Action Bronson, go to, I mean, we keep talking about Sean Price, go to a Sean Price, go to Joey Badass, go to a Flatbush Zombies, go to Troy Ave, the Tam Boys.
X-Squad.
Whoever. I'm going to do a record for you, and I'm going to give you one of them things.
Right.
I'm going to show you how to get on this and make it sound right,
Right.
and we going off to the races. Is that not something you want to do, or do you not see people putting in the work? It's not their time yet. Swizz's thing was some people put in the work, some people don't. I want to see the work.
Right. Well, I think it's a different combination of things. Like some of the people you mentioned, something might, you know, there's some things that's being discussed behind the scenes. Like a couple of those acts we're talking about doing.
Gotta get the
together.
business right though.
But
talk about that business though.
Exactly, because here's the thing, and pardon me, I feel like because the culture has changed, everything's more accessible, right? And anybody can make beats now. Not that they're not all good, but anybody can make them, you know, or some semblance of a record.
Right.
What happens is, and anybody can or somebody can just take your beat, rhyme on it, and have a video out tomorrow for it. What happens is, what's happened is the business model, even on the producer side of things, has gotten so messed up because it's almost expected now. Like, yo, let's just do a project together. All right, cool. So how
are you saying that's a minor league approach?
No, what I'm saying is, actually, yeah, it is a minor league approach. It's like, yo, let's just do a project together. All right, how do we monetize it? Oh, well, see, and that's where things get funny for me.
Right.
You know
and
what
a cat walks up to me and says, yo, I made this last night. It's fire. Can I get it on the radio? What's that going to do for you? Nah, people going to hear it. Okay, and? What's your plan?
Now, here's the thing. If an indie artist, like one of the guys you just mentioned, approaches me and says, let's do a project together, and I have a plan as far as how I want to sell it, or I can look at him and his movement and say, okay, I think we can monetize this somehow. Mm-hmm. Let's put a deal together. You know what I mean? And we'll figure it out. That'd be a whole different story. But so many of the newer artists can't even think that far ahead yet. They just want to have records out and be hot.
So like, you know, here we try to do the Who's Next every month. You know what I mean? We have who'snextonline.com. We started out like 7 years ago in an effort to give tools, right, to the up-and-coming act, right? Meaning we're going to not only give you a place to put music where you could socialize, which was the online component, but we're also going to give you a stage where you can perform, right, and get in front of people. And we're also going to run commercials and things like that saying, hey, come check, to get your name out there. So this way you get an opportunity to run around, get your fan base up.
Right.
If you want to sell merch, if you want to sell CDs, you're now opening up your fan base. We're acknowledging that you've put in the work to have a buzz.
And how can people get this information?
Well, you can go to hot97.com.
See, I got a call from a mutual friend, Mike Harrod.
Uh-huh.
And Mike was singing your praises. Because Mike was basically saying, you know, yeah, the game has changed, but behind closed doors, you've helped him put money in his artist pocket because behind closed doors, you have these venues where up-and-coming artists that are not getting radio play get some shine and they get the commercials and the whole nine. I mean, but a lot of people don't know about that.
Yeah, but it ain't, I don't do it for that.
Right.
I'm not in it for, look, I get people meetings.
Right.
Like, I use my relationships to get people meetings, whether it was, you know, Sylvia Rohn, whether it was Lior, whether it's putting people on Hove's radar, Swizz Beatz. Like, this
so
conversation.
You connect.
Yeah.
That's your job right now with regard to the culture.
Yeah, but this conversation is being had by every single person in hip-hop in every market. and particularly by guys who grew out of the new. I mean, Just knows he ain't just having this conversation every week with y'all.
Right.
He's having this conversation with people he knows that he sees at baseline, or that he sees in the street, or that he sees in the corporate offices when he walks in. This same conversation, everybody's like,
well,
who?
What's Stadium Red?
Stadium
Red.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. Understood.
But you know, everybody wants it,
Right.
right? Everybody wants to see New York back on the map, or bring New York back.
And I'm not one of those bring New York back
right
type guys,
That's
because I understand the playing field has changed.
I think what people
but,
need to understand
right.
is the world's changed because
world's changed.
social media has knocked down walls.
Right.
So somebody who's from Mars could get popping in Pittsburgh.
Mars, Idaho.
You know, exactly, wherever.
Right.
And the kids is, oh, this is popping, like, I'm with this. I like this guy. And ultimately my friends like it, and the girls that I want to have sex with like it, and the dudes that I want to dress like it, and that's what I like, and this is what we rocking with, and that's that. So I think a lot of us that came out of the 90s forget that the 15, 16-year-old ain't really having the regional conversation.
Right.
They're having the good or bad conversation.
Right.
And anything about a region.
Because kids don't really care about regions
They
anymore.
don't care.
Right.